Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As always, I really appreciate it. If this is your first time here, welcome. I know I don't look my best, but we will get there. So don't leave, not yet. Give me a chance, please. I can explain. So I'm really excited for today's video because I know. It's been a little while since I've done anything makeup related on my channel, and I'm very sorry. I am going to be showing you guys what I do to make the foundation last all day. And guys, I mean all day. Okay? This is not an everyday thing. This is not a 5-minute run out the door, have my makeup last all day. This is more of a makeup look that you'd be doing if you have a special occasion. If you're going to a wedding, you're taking pictures, you're gonna be outside, you're gonna be running around, you're running a marathon. I don't know, no judgment here, okay? If you have a really long day at work where you're gonna have like meetings after meetings after meetings, and you know that you have to look just your best all day long, this is the tutorial for you. This is not an everyday simple thing. This is more full coverage. This is something that's going to be a little bit more glam. And for my subscribers that like something a little bit more on the lighter side, this may just be a little bit outside of your comfort zone. However, I think that you should keep an open mind because we all have those days where we know we need to look good and we need our foundation to be looking flawless all day long. So these tips and tricks are a little bit more geared towards my girls with normal to oily to very oily skin. Now with that said, let's go ahead and get started because I look funny and I feel like I need something on this face. So first and foremost, I'm gonna put this hair out of the way. So give me 1 second, please. Much better. Alrighty, so the first thing I'm going to go in with is with my Mario Badescu facial spray. I've used this in a lot of my other videos. You guys already know how much I love it. This is great for prepping the skin, also as a setting spray. So let me go ahead and spray this. And not to mention that it's just smells so good and it's so amazing. I love the way it makes my skin feel. It smells like a spa. Oh, and by the way, my face is moisturized. I cleaned it. I even did a little exfoliating. I got it prepped and ready for you guys. And I did moisturize. It does not matter what your skin type is, whether it's oily, combination, dry, normal. It doesn't matter. You need to moisturize. That is really important, especially for my oily girls. I know that we like to stay away from moisturizers sometimes because we feel like it makes us even more oily. And I understand the struggle. However, you don't want to skip out on that step because you do want the makeup application to go on just very buttery and very smooth. And if you don't moisturize, there is a chance that during the application of the makeup's just not going to go on as like buttery and delicious. You know what I mean? Okay, so the top secret to making your makeup last all day. I'm gonna let you guys in on the secret, so come on closer. I'm just kidding. It is... You're like, what the hell is that, Jenny? So glad you asked. This is actually milk of magnesia. Yes, this is a laxative. And no, you shall not drink it. We will not be drinking the milk of magnesia. We are going to be applying it to our skin as a primer. So we are skipping primers. We are not going to use any primers. I know that there's a chance that you have an $80 primer somewhere in your makeup kit. You can go ahead and just skip that, okay? Because this right here is the magic behind having your makeup last all day long. And I know you're probably like, what? Really, Jenny? I know. It's insane. But you guys, I tell you, I get so excited about this because I have been doing this now for years. And when I first saw it online, I was very skeptical. So I tried it on myself before trying it on any of my clients or before even talking about it. I was like, you know what? Let me use myself as a guinea pig because I am you guys, I am so oily. You have no idea. Fry an egg in my forehead type of oily. I tested this out and it was life-changing. You guys, life-changing. And I know I like to exaggerate. That's my personality. I'm like overly excited about absolutely everything, but I kid you not that this was life-changing. This just took my makeup to a whole nother level, because now I could actually wear my makeup for the amount of time that I want to. I'm not always very big on like retouching my makeup. Once I do my makeup in the morning, sometimes I'm just go, and I don't necessarily want to stop, especially when you're oily. I don't want to stop every hour to do my, retouch my makeup. So this is the secret, and you can thank me later. So let's continue on. I'm going to show you guys how to use it. So the way that I use it is I shake it up. And also, by the way, this also helps if you tend to get sweaty. This helps. I have a lot of clients that tell me that they get sweaty on their top lip or like around their hairline. If you do, this is going to help you so much. Like, this is amazing for oiliness and for sweat. So what I do is, so I shook it up, as you guys saw. I grabbed the top, and there's a little bit of the Milk of Magnesia in there. So I just grab it with my finger, and I put it on the areas where I know I get very, very oily. If you get oily everywhere, you just want to lightly put this everywhere. If you know that there's only certain areas where you get oily, only put it in those areas. You don't want to put it in the areas that you suffer from any dryness. This is only for my normal to oily to very, very oily girls. And now if you have normal skin, you just want to make sure you don't put too much. Like, put a little bit. Now if you're very, very oily, you want to put a little bit more. So depending on where you fall in that range is the amount that you want to put on. I get very oily on my forehead. Let me get my mirror closer. I get very oily on my forehead, so I'm going to go ahead and put some there. Now, you just want to go ahead and smear it evenly. You don't want to put too much on one area. You want to just blend it out. You're not going to see anything right when it goes on, but as it dries, it's going to turn white. So I also get very oily between my eyebrows, so I'm putting a little bit there. On my nose, I also tend to get a little bit oily, and I get very oily right here because I have larger pores there. Alright, so I'm just gonna put a little bit more. So just give this a try a couple of times, because it might take you a couple of times to figure out exactly how much of this you should be putting. Maybe the first time you put too much, maybe you don't put enough. So definitely play around with the amounts until you find exactly what works for you. Alrighty, so I'm done putting the Milk of Magnesia, so now I need it to dry. I had a little fan, but it broke, so grab whatever's closest to me. So you guys are gonna see that it's gonna turn white. Do you guys see how it's starting to turn white? And it does feel a little bit tight. I mean, it doesn't feel like a tightening mask or anything like that, but you do feel a little bit of it. Okay, so it feels like it's 100% dry. The more you put, the whiter it's gonna get. The less you put, the less white it's gonna get. If it doesn't get white at all, I would say that maybe you didn't put enough, so you might wanna try just putting just a little bit more. This is what you're gonna be looking like. Next is foundation. So we are going to apply the foundation directly on top of the Milk of Magnesia. With that said, I do not recommend doing this with any foundation that is too sheer. No CC cream, no BB creams, even a foundation that has like light coverage. If you go with anything that's too light, you are going to be able to see the Milk of Magnesia pop through the foundation. To make your foundation last all day, I definitely recommend going with something that has a matte finish and something that is more medium to full coverage. Usually foundations that are medium to full coverage simply last much longer. I'm gonna go in with the Estee Lauder Double Wear. This foundation, even on its own, lasts forever. So in combination with the Milk of Magnesia, I'm talking about I can do probably 24 hours with this. So I went on vacation, I got a little bit of sun, so I am a little darker than usual. So my foundation is probably not gonna match me. So I'm just gonna throw in a little bit of the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. This one's like much darker, so I'm just gonna mix them to make it a little bit more of my skin color. Obviously, using any foundation that says long wear, 24 hours, anything like that is going to help. However, this is something that you can do with any foundation. So you could use the foundations that you already have at home. Quite honestly, the Milk of Magnesia is going to be the #1 factor that helps your makeup last the longest. So as long as it has like its good amount of coverage, you should be fine. However, if you're really serious, really serious about having your makeup last all day long, you'd be better off just getting a foundation that says long wear, that has like a matte finish. Like all of these things are going to help your foundation last all day. So I'm going to be applying it with a damp beauty sponge. This one is from Real Techniques, and you can also use a brush. However, I like to, on these areas, I like to bounce the foundation over it. So I'm going to go ahead and start there, and we're just going to apply that right above. Alrighty guys, so foundation is on, and like I said, this is a full coverage sort of thingamajig. So just keep that in mind when you're looking through this video, when you're doing it yourself. This is something that is full coverage, so if you're not used to that, just give it a little chance. It might take a little getting used to. So now we're gonna move on to these under eyes because I need to do something about them. So I'm gonna go in first with a color corrector. This is from Becca. This is Under Eye Brightening Corrector, and this is medium to deep. So now this part actually doesn't really have anything to do with your foundation lasting all day. You don't have to put on a color corrector for it to last all day. That's just something that I do. If you don't like to use color correctors, that's fine. You can just simply go in with your regular concealer. Now, I would just simply say when picking your concealer, make sure that it's something that has a little bit more coverage. Same thing as the foundation. You don't want anything that's too sheer, just because anything that's usually sheer doesn't have as much staying power. The concealer that I'm going to be going in is also from Becca, and this is the one I've been using for a really long time. It is the Becca Aqua Luminous Perfecting Concealer, and the color that I'm using is medium. So I know that I'm not explaining the concealer part with too much detail, and the truth is because this part doesn't necessarily have anything to do with making your foundation last a really long time. There's nothing that I'm doing right now that is going to make your foundation last much longer. Now, there's a couple of steps coming up which are essential in making this last all day long, but this part in particular, I'm just applying it the way I normally do. This is how I always do my concealer. There is nothing different. Now, if there is a particular way that you like to do your concealer, you can definitely do that. Alrighty, so now that my concealer is on, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to contour. I am going to be contouring with a foundation stick. So we are gonna go over this with a powder. However, I do recommend, if you want your foundation to just flawlessly, I'm talking about flawless, okay, to last all day, I definitely do recommend going in with a cream or with a liquid contour. This one that I'm using is from L'Oreal, the Infallible Longwear Shaping Stick, and the color Cocoa. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and blend this out with the beauty sponge. Because I don't know if it's ever happened to you guys. You guys notice that sometimes you'll put blush on and then an hour later, the blush is like gone. It's like nowhere to be found. That also sometimes happens with bronzers. So I have noticed that when I contour with creams like I'm doing now, the contour stays much longer. The makeup just looks much more flawless longer than when I only use powders. Alrighty, so we are contoured. What do we think? What do we think? Good. Moving on to the next step. This next step is actually very important. Probably just as important, maybe a little bit less. Just a little bit. As the milk of magnesia. This step is also very important, which is powder. So powder is going to be your best friend when making your foundation last all day. For today, I'm going to be using two different types of powders. This is just me being super extra. You don't need to do this. You just simply need one loose powder and that's it. That's it. The first one that I'm going to be using is from Morphe, and this one is the, what is this called? The Brightening Pink, and I'm going to be using this powder for specifically under my eyes. What you apply it with is also really important. You want to apply this with either a powder puff or a dry beauty blender. It can be slightly damp. You don't want it to be too damp. So remember, before applying powders, you always want to make sure that there is no creasing whatsoever. I use my powder puff. I pick up some of the loose powder and I press it onto my skin. Now this is really important. The pressing part is really important. If you normally put powder with a brush, if that works for you, do you, boo? However, I have noticed that doing this technique makes a huge difference with how long my makeup lasts. There's a chance you're gonna get powder all over you, but that's all right. Now this is gonna make you look very matte. So if you're into dewy and looking all like a glazed donut, which I love, that is something that we're gonna have to just do after, like towards the end, and we're gonna have to just use highlighters. So then now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pick up a little bit more powder and I'm going to leave it under the eye, baking. So now I'm gonna do the same thing to the other eye. Okay, so I'm going to repeat the exact same thing on the center of my forehead with the same powder, just because I want that area to be a little bit brighter. So I'm just going to pick up some of the powder and I'm going to press it. I mean, I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm like really pressing that into my skin. This also makes the makeup look incredibly flawless. Like, I know it's very matte and I know that matte is not very in right now, but I always say if you need to have your makeup last all day, you have to first make your makeup very matte to then go in and then you can add highlighters in specific areas, because you can't get crazy with the highlighters either, unfortunately, especially if you're oily. Okay, so now I'm done with the pink brightening powder. Now I'm going to move on to set the rest of my face, and I'm going to be using the Milk Makeup translucent medium powder. So I'm going to be applying this with the exact same technique, where I'm going to pick up some of the powder on my powder puff, and now I'm going to press that into the skin. There is powder flying everywhere. I'm gonna go over everything, the contour, everything. Okay, down the neck, because I did put foundation on my neck. Okay, you guys, this foundation, I promise you, is not gonna go anywhere. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna simply apply a little bit of bronzer. I'm gonna do a little blush, but I am gonna do that off camera. So let me go ahead and finish my makeup and I will be right back. Alright, so last but not least, I'm gonna go ahead and set it with the same facial spray that I prepped my skin with. Put this hair down. Yes. Alrighty. So this is it for the foundation. I'm going to go run errands and I'm going to check in with you guys as often as I can throughout the day. So it is now 4:20. In a perfect world, I would have filmed this video this morning. However, it's not a perfect world. And the way my life is set up right now, so I wasn't able to film it earlier. However, I'm still going to try my very best to just wear this makeup as long as possible. I will check in with you guys a couple of times throughout the day to show you guys what my makeup is looking like. I'm gonna see you guys in a couple of hours. Say hi. Say hi. Hi. Alrighty guys, checking in. It's, I believe, like 7. I don't have my phone on me, but last I checked it was like about 7:15. So that's what? She loves the camera. So my makeup's been on for like about 3 hours and this is what it's looking like. Absolutely no oil has come through. Normally, if I wouldn't have done everything I showed you guys, I would have already definitely been oily, especially like on my forehead and on my nose. So absolutely no oils coming through, just the skin looking a lot more like skin. It has like just like a natural like glisten to it. I know. So yeah, so Miss Arya and I had been running errands and we're back home, so we're gonna be home for a while now. So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys. Oh God, God bless you. Just wanted to show you guys my update, what it's looking like, and yeah, I'm not gonna take it off just yet, and I'll come back and show you guys one last time in several hours what it's looking like. Alright guys, love you. Say bye, mommy. Say bye. All Alrighty guys, so I am back and it is now 10:12. My foundation has been on now for 6 hours and this is what it's looking like. I wish I could have shown you guys the foundation a little bit longer so that you guys could see how extreme these tips are and how much they really do work. Now, if you are oily and you're watching this video, you know that 6 hours looking like this is very impressive, especially since normally when I do my makeup and I don't do any of the things that I showed you guys in this video, you will start to see a lot of oil come through probably after like an hour and a half, especially on a day like today where I ran errands like out of the house, and in Miami it's hot and it's humid, so the sweat and the oil comes through very, very quickly. I mean, just a little tiny bit of oil right here, I'm a little shiny here, a little bit on this area, but it's just so minor, honestly, that I could just get away with just saying that I did it on purpose and I'm just glowing. Alrighty guys, so that's pretty much it for today's video. I am tired, I want to go to bed, I want to take this makeup off. So I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Let me know if you try any of the things I have suggested in the video or all of it, which is even better. And let me know how it works for you. I feel super confident that this is definitely going to help you guys make your foundation last all day. Everything I showed you guys in this video is exactly what I do for myself, and it is exactly what I do for my clients, and I just feel like it always works. So I really, fingers crossed, hope that it works for you guys too. If you haven't done so already, please don't forget to subscribe. Also, please don't forget to give this video a big old thumbs up to let me know that you like it. And yeah, that's pretty much it for today's video. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next one. Bye! And wait, on